32 of the $300 Startup Podcast. I'm your humble and gracious host, Jose Burgos, back with another episode where we debunk the common myth that you can't have a 9-to-5 and still be a business owner. We do that by giving you practical advice, tips, tricks, and a lot of strategies that you can take into your business. Or if you're on the fence and haven't jumped in there, then we are the ones that are going to get you to finally do it this year, today, now. There's no other better time than right now. And we're here to support you on that journey, guys. Once again, thank you for coming back for episode 32. This episode is going to be on complexity. And the title that I plan on giving this episode is Complexity Kills Momentum in everything, right? It kills momentum in business. It kills momentum in relationships. It kills momentum in life. And what I mean by that is we get into this natural state where we seem to overcomplicate everything that we're doing when it comes to being a better, spouse, when it comes to being a better parent, when it comes to being a better business owner, even down to the actual things, like when it comes to the work that we do. We get real bent out of shape and we make everything really complex because we want everything to be perfect and we want everything to line up the way it's supposed to line up in our head. And once one of those things gets put out of place, we go back to the drawing board and we do the same thing all over again, right? We start running to figure out how to perfect the new strategy and the new way we figured it out. And I'm here to tell you guys from experience that that is a complete waste of time. You do not want to do that. It's going to stress you out. It's going to burn you out. And it's going to kill any momentum that you had up to that point or going into that point. And that's what I want you guys to stay away from. So I'll give you a few examples for myself. So in life, right, let's talk about my spouse. Let's talk about how I met my spouse, and let's talk about, how I chose to marry her. I complicated that whole sequence from beginning to the very point of her saying I do, which I love you, babe. I have no idea to this day why you said I do to me, but thank you so much for saying that. From the very beginning, I met my wife at we worked at a grocery store here in New England. It's called Price Chopper. Depending on where you are listening from, you may have no clue what that is, but it's just a typical grocery store here in New England. And that's where I met my wife. But from the very moment, I complicated everything. Instead of just directly speaking to her, I build this little plan. She used to work in the bakery. So I build this little plan where I would basically just walk over to the bakery and buy a bagel for no reason. I wasn't hungry. I wasn't, just to be near her to try to speak to her. Now, I failed at the speaking part, the first 10 times because I went over there, I bought bagels every single day, and she wouldn't even bat an eye at me, let alone let us have a conversation. And, I overcomplicated the process, just like I said. And then eventually I just said, the hell with the bagel. And I just said, hello. Sounds very simple. I know. Why wouldn't you just lead off with hello, Jose? I don't know. It's that type of thing that, when you go, like the cartoons, when you get those, butterflies in your stomach for a person, you seem to overlook all this stuff. But this happens a lot in life. So anyways, eventually we hit it off. And then even while we were going out, I would overcomplicate things, right? I would go the extra mile to try to, please her in a way that I thought it would be pleasing. So I even remember this one time where we went to like this popular mall in Rhode Island, which is the state over from us. And we were in there and my bank account was empty. I mean, this thing was I believe I went in there with $20 and I was praying and hoping that I would have to not spend more than $20. Well, that's not going to work out because even to park, it costs money. So we show up, I pay $10 to park. There goes half of it. And then my wife goes on this like, hey, we should watch a movie. Hey, we should eat. Hey, all these typical things. And, I overcomplicated everything. And instead of just being honest and saying, hey, I just don't have the money, I went ahead and just kept overdrawing my card, overdrawing my bank account. And I was able to get $160 in one pull, which was the last one that my bank was going to allow me to pull out. And I walked away that night with $5 left in my pocket. So not only did I overdraw, but I completely went broke because I just wouldn't do the simple thing of just being honest and saying, hey, I don't have the money, which now being with my wife, I would understand that it didn't even matter. She didn't even care about that stuff. That's not the reason she even wanted to spend time with me. It was literally for that, just for the time. So as you can see, guys, you can overcomplicate everything and it kills momentum. Any momentum that I had with my wife at that point probably got killed or probably got slowed down because, here I am trying to do way too much and overcomplicate something that's way basic, like a date. Should be really easy, but it's not. Another way is when I first started to try to lose weight, right? If you guys know anything about my story, I used to weigh 300 pounds. and I lost a ton of weight. I mean, more than half of that. So in the very beginning, I overcomplicated everything. I wanted to do, calorie counting, and I wanted to do this type of program and that type of program, and I wanted to take this type of supplement and that type of supplement. And in turn, that did nothing for me, because all it did was lead to the next rabbit hole, and it just kept confusing the crap out of me and making it difficult, which in turn just turned me off to the point of even being at the gym and working out, because I was overwhelmed. I didn't get it. Nothing was happening. It was way too much. And it wasn't until I actually found a really good system that I wanted to focus on, which is Jim Stepani. Check him out if you guys are into fitness. He has a Facebook group, and he actually educates the people that take his supplements on why they're taking them, and workout. He trains people on working out and shows you how to do good form and all that. So I fell in love with this, long story short. And only with his simplified, once again, not overcomplicated, only with his simplified system was I actually able to successfully lose some weight. And what he did was he got rid of all that crazy stuff for me, like the calorie counting and the, getting every meal calculated and all that stuff. And he broke it down into 3 simple things: check your protein, check your carbs, and check your fats. And then he had a system that would go with that. So if you wanted to lose, you would start at, 1 gram of protein per body weight, 1 gram of carb per body weight, and then half your weight and fats. Now that system made a ton of sense to me, and I gravitated towards it. And that's what made me be able to succeed at losing weight, a lot of weight, and continue to do it to this day with the stuff that I learned from him. But if I didn't simplify that system, I still would be one of those people that are burnt out and not losing any weight, and that are frustrated because they're probably doing what I was doing. And that's just, they're so confused at what they're supposed to be doing that they just rather quit, because eventually they just hit a wall and they burn out. Another example is with our businesses, guys, with our online business. At the very beginning, I knew I wanted to start making money on the side, but I overcomplicated what that process was like. So I still have an old school mentality, which is, you need a lot of funding to start a company. You need, employees, you need all that stuff. So I overcomplicated, and I never took action because of that. It stopped my momentum. It stopped me from moving forward. And it wasn't until I actually met up with a buddy of mine who was making 6 figures online that I realized that the internet has leveled the playing field, and we no longer have to have that old mentality of what it means to have a business, right? We're able to do this stuff, with a 9-to-5, with a low overhead, and we're able to do it successfully, because it's not really so much about the business anymore as it is about the service that you're providing. There's a million businesses out there, but if you can provide a service that's, better, or, basically that does it better than the others, that's more important than, your actual business and where it stands. Now, that doesn't mean you don't need the right pillars to hold your, side hustle or your business up, because there is certain things that you need in place. Like, you need to be able to get paid right. You need to be able to have a place where you live online. The 6 pillars, the stuff that we talk about all the time, guys. You need that stuff. But that stuff is much easier to accomplish than it is to get, venture capital for $15,000, $20,000, right? And that's overcomplicating it. So it wasn't until I, talked and asked a lot of questions with my buddy that was making 6 figures that I found out that I was overcomplicating it. My momentum was slowing down and being stagnant, and it was stopping me. And from there, I was able to learn that change my way, simplify the system, guys. And that's what we need to do in life. We need to simplify the system. So I gave you 3 examples of myself. I gave you, weight loss. I gave you life, but this goes for relationships. This goes for everything. If you want to be a better spouse, stop overcomplicating that. Just be a loving person and be the person that your spouse met and fell in love with. If you want to be a better business owner, don't overcomplicate it. If you want a better ad campaign, don't overcomplicate your ad campaign. Make it nice and simple. People love simple. And we, as natural human beings, also love the simple stuff, because it's the crazy convoluted stuff that slows us down. It gives us that second thought of, okay, am I doing this right? And when you have those second or third thoughts, that's when the fears come in, right? That's when they slide in there, and that's when they stop you. And like I said, it either slows your momentum down or it completely brings it to a halt. And that's what we don't want, guys. We don't want to slow down, and we don't want to get to a halt, because that's going to require a lot more work for us to get out of that, stop zone or slow down zone to get to speed back up. I hope this episode helped a ton of you guys out there. It's definitely something that, even in saying it to you guys, reminds me of some of the stuff that I did that was stupid to overcomplicate it. don't beat yourself up about it, because it's actually pretty normal, and it's just stuff that we do to try to perfect everything and to try to get it exactly how our brain envisions it. But if that is stopping you from actually doing something, like taking the action and moving forward to the next step, then you need to stop, because that is the cause of most of your problems. All right, guys. I hope episode 31 was good for you guys. I appreciate all your support. Be on the lookout for more information about the $300 startup toolkit. That's about to come out pretty soon. Beta testers are doing fantastic on that, and I'm getting a lot more feedback to tune it, and I'm going to be adding a few more things to it. So keep an eye out for that, guys. As always, I appreciate you guys. Take care. If you have any questions, business related or personal related, that you need any help with, you know where to find me. I'll catch you guys next week. Take care.